There comes a time in every hay salesman's journey where he must decide, do I tell this customer no, or do I find more feed? Well, I'm not a quitter, so I always say, I'll get you something. What you're looking at behind me is all we have left of our first cutting from the 2021 season. We had this entire barn filled up to about where that telehandler was. And that is what remains. And that has been kind of not taking on some new customers. That's been keeping it relatively moderate because we didn't have the best season. But this pile is not going to last long. So today we're going to dig into some rebaling. And I'm going to head over there with my queen, the JCB, and we'll get rolling. It's going to be a good day. We are not only full of expensive fuel, but we are full of ambition and vigor as we set out for a great day of rebaling. That was so lame. It's wet and muddy. Nothing new from this channel. Now, the dumpster is just packed full. And that's after the fork stuffed it down a few times. So I'm sure the drivers are gonna appreciate that. The problem with using machines and stuffing down the dumpster is sometimes when they go to shake it loose, it doesn't come out. So you wanna be pretty careful that you don't overdo it, because they're not gonna sit there all day and shake it out. I don't even know if they actually know when it dumps. Starting to get some green in the hay fields. We are rebaling, and we pretty much have to now because it is the beginning of April. It's like April 4th. And we have all of April, pretty much all of May, and then a decent chunk of June before you can really kind of guarantee we have good new horse quality hay available. So that's, you know, 2.5 months to get by. That's a lot of hay, especially these last 2 months of the off season, I guess you want to call it, is when we start getting a lot of customers that we don't always have because other suppliers are out and everything. So it's nice when people call, you just say, yeah, we got it, you know, here we go. Don't know why you don't buy from us year round, but we got it now like we always do. There's some people like that. Sammy, wait! I need you to stop what you're doing and give the people what they're looking for. What's going on?
The people want to know what's going on?
Yeah.
Alright, so we are rebaling today. Just getting ready to fire up the shredder itself. I've got everything else running. I've got our bundler at the end running. I got the baler running. The table feeding the baler running. I'm just getting ready to start up the shredder.
So how does this machine work?
Basically, this big Messick shredder has like a table, walkway, walking floor, whatever you want to call it. We load it up with 4 big squares.
Yep.
And it just slowly feeds and pushes itself in. And if you come around the back, there's like little tines, little fingers in there. And the idea of those is to grab each flake off of the big square, suck it up into the machine, shred it. There's a reverse rotor on top that just helps keep it down, just helps shred it.
It avoids clumping.
Exactly.
Yep, cool.
So right now, I'm getting ready to fire. I've got everything else running. Baler's running, table's running.
Okay.
So yeah, here we go. It's really not too hard.
It comes down off that reversing auger up there, kicks down into these conveyors right here, and then this table drags it to the baler. And what about over here? That's only half the equation.
Do we go to see the rest of it? So it feeds it into the baler.
Yep.
I've got everything kind of leveled out, so it flows right in. It seems to come down. Coming out of the baler, right into our bundler table.
Yep. And it kicks out a 14-bale bundle. So what do you want to do today? You want to man the machine?
I do. I want to run the rebaler, and I want to make a mountain of bundles.
Mountain of bundles. Okay. So we'll take that hay, break it down, and make it that hay. Sounds good. Cool. So did you have to do anything special this morning?
Just this morning, I just took a quick look at everything, made sure everything was full of fuel, oil, and twine. You know, just the essentials. A quick greasing of everything, and then just a quick cleanup. And I mean, we're pretty much ready to go.
Sounds good. All right. I'm going to show the tractors outside for 1 second. So this is running the bundler. And this is running the baler and the rebaler, the shredder. We didn't do that. Last year the setup was a little bit different, but it was, I guess, mostly similar. We were having trouble with the radiators and everything staying clean. The tractors were heating up, so we figured if we remove them from the dust and debris as much as possible, it would perform a lot better out here in the colder temperature and cleaner air. And that has been true. We haven't had any issues at all. These are some of the bundles we made prior. This is pretty much what we have remaining of the rebuild. We've done, I don't know, like 6,000 bales or such so far, and they're all gone. So it's really time to kick it into gear. I didn't really want to admit this, but I already have several thousand sold that I don't even have made, which I've never done before. And I would never have done that unless I already had the hay and knew it was good and all that type of thing, because I have bought batches from other farmers and the hay itself was just not really good. And you know, half the load was nice and the other half was just not good. So, but I have everything indoors that I'm gonna bale this year. I've seen it all. I've ripped into every batch and I'm very comfortable selling it off. And the bales this year came out looking phenomenal. They're very tight. The flakes are nice. You can hardly even tell they're rebale. So we will get started. This bale here, we're gonna hand feed in. This was some of the hay that went right to Texas. The outside looked nice, but I did want to open one up and make sure that the insides were all fine, because large squares can be deceiving. You can have a decent looking square on the outside and junk on the inside. So I did open one up and it's very nice.
So basically, if we did not have the shredder, we would be hand feeding all that. But that's no fun.
No. That's not pleasant.
Say we're doing a pretty good job.
Yep. Yep.
We're always trying to make sure that the bales coming out are not getting hung up, or everything's just flowing in line as it should.
Now, Baler, they've seen all that stuff. Can you tell me a little more about what you're watching on this machine?
If you notice at the top there, that's normal. It's supposed to do that. The material will build up there, and that reverse auger is just kind of throwing it back. It's shredding it. It's getting it into the desired piece size that we want coming out of the shredder.
Okay.
And I mean, it's fully adjustable. Like right now, it's kind of wadding up there. So I'm just gonna pause the machine. Well, pause the table. So it's not no longer feeding any more hay into it.
So you just stopped that conveyor back here from moving?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, we just stopped the walking table.
Okay.
And we're gonna let that clear out a little bit. It normally happens pretty fast. I mean, within 2 or 3 minutes, that'll be cleared out, and we can continue feeding.
So what are some other options? You can also adjust the height of that, the speed of that.
The rotor up top there, we can bump it up or we can bump it down. This is a gauge, tell you where we're at.
Okay.
Normally we're running about, I mean, no more than 5, but right about 3.
I gotta get the bundle, hold on.
So this here, it's kind of a timely process with the way we have this set up. He's got to be able to get that bundle out of there before we start having to jam up a hay bale. We're starting to stack our stack up back there. We're flowing right now.
We're flowing, yep.
All right. So like I was trying to explain about the shredder before, like right now it's got no buildup up there.
So Sammy, he had shut the conveyor off, got rid of the buildup up there, and now he just turned it back on, and then we're gonna start a nice steady flow of material again. Pretty good. So Sammy really does an excellent job managing pretty much most of the machines. Some of the biggest issues that we have that'll hold us up or slow us down, besides shearing a pin on a baler or something, is where the bale is actually kicking in the machine. Sometimes they'll come out cockeyed, or you'll have a broken one or whatever. So you pretty much always want to make sure someone has an eye on that. So when I'm not picking up a bundle or grabbing other large squares to put onto the conveyor, I have my eyes on that. And when I'm on the other side of the barn grabbing hay or whatever, Sammy makes sure he has his eyes on that. But that's pretty much what I'm focusing on. I'm not worrying too much about the machine. He's got that handled. His flow, he's got it really dialed down. Most of the time when you have that machine set the way you like it, you don't have to do a whole lot of changes as long as the hay stays consistent. When you move into a different batch of hay or whatnot, it breaks apart differently. You have stickier flakes, density, length, whatever. You do have to make some changes, but once you have it set the way you like it for the hay you're using, you're pretty good to go for a while. Just some minor touch-ups here and there, and if you got a backup or whatever. So this is where I'm sticking the rebaled hay right now. It's raining outside. I don't want to put them on trailers. A lot of times I'll stack them directly on a trailer and take them to the other barn because it's convenient for customers. But it's raining, so we're just going to stockpile here. My job is to grab them when they come out of the bundler, put them in a clump of 3, and stack them. And then I also need to make sure with the same machine that I keep this machine loaded. So right now I'm gonna go get a couple squares. I have to flip them on edge and I'll get them, it's a little bit of a creative movement, and I'll get them stacked on the conveyor. When you're running in the machine rebaling, it pretty much is just a game of balancing priorities. What can I be doing that makes it easier for everyone at the given time? Got that on the conveyor. Now all Sam has to do is come by and cut those strings. But you pretty much want to make sure that a bale is behind the bale of the strings you'd like to cut, or else it'll flop down and just make a mess on the table. Now I'm looking here. There are 12 bales in the chamber. I'm going to wait for 2 more, grab that bundle, and then I'm going to venture out to the other side of the barn, grab some of those squares, and bring them back there and start setting it up. So nothing is too high octane. You know, I'm not technically moving all the time. Sammy's not moving all the time. He's getting it underneath the balers and cleaning out some of the debris under the knotters and stuff, but the chaff, I guess, not debris. But it's not too high octane. You just got to balance priorities. The worst part about the rain is I come out here and my windshield's getting wet, and then the dust just sticks right to it. So I am burning through windshield washer fluid. We have some hay over here. Just a decent first cutting Timothy Orchard alfalfa mix, medium maturity. I am trying to get specifically to some hay behind it, so I have, I don't know, about 30 more bales to get through until I get to some other hay that I bought from another farmer that a specific client or customer wants. So we're just working on clearing space today is pretty much the main thing. I called my dad and said in about an hour I'm going to need him over here with the skid steer and the spears, because the way those are stacked 6 high, I cannot get these with the grapple. There's not enough clearance up the rafters, between the rafter and the top of the hay. So I can clean all this out over here, but I'm going to need some assistance when it comes to starting to offload those. All right, what's the trick here with taking off the strings?
The trick with the strings, it's all about what side of the bale the knot is on, because you can't pull the knots between the bales. They just get stuck, they get hung up.
Yep.
And you always want to make sure that you have all 6 strings.
What's your handy dandy tool? The knot remover. Oh man.
Just plain and simple.
Are you able to do it all in one foul swoop?
No, no way can you do it all in one.
Serious progress today. The pile is growing. That's what we like to see. It's making very nice, uniform, consistent bales. At the end of the video, I'll actually take one of the rebale bales and cut it open. You'll see that it's nice, consistent flakes. It's pretty much indistinguishable from out of the field. You can see the bales are nice and tight. There's no shaggy edges or anything. They're very squared off. which some of you might think it's just horse feed or whatever, but there is an aesthetic appeal to the shape of the bale. And this baler, the inline balers, do a really nice job. Last year we ran it through a New Holland 575, and it's not an inline baler, it's a, I don't know, side bale or whatever you want to call it. And it made just terribly irregular bales. Look at how nice this bundle is. That's the uniformity we like to see. I did finally get my dad on the job over here. He's bringing over that batch I talked about a little bit earlier. And he put the spears and the skid steers so he can go right in and grab it straight from the face side. I don't know. Now he's bringing it over. Can it handle 3?
Yeah, I just got to go into it a little bit more because the spears, it doesn't lift it.
Oh, we need longer spears.
Yeah,
Yep.
need more spears. But it lifts it.
Yep. I don't think he knew the longer spears were over here. Nice. Nice. It's all coming together. This is good. In summation, Sammy's definitely the most important guy on the job right now. He is making sure everything is fine-tuned, stopping any clogs, stopping any jams. This whole setup wouldn't really be happening without Sam. He's getting to know the baler extremely well. He knows the bundlers extremely well. He knows the rebaling setup extremely well. And he already has a really good understanding of the tractors that are running it. So when something breaks, he's Johnny on the spot, knows how to fix it, and he knows how to run it really well so it doesn't break. We haven't broke any shear pins today, and we're closing in on about 1,000 bales already, so that is a great run. We are shutting down. We made our wall of bales, and our eyes are a little red. We're hungry. We're out of room. So we saved the last bale for you guys. I wanted to pull it right out of the baler, so there's no fooling around here. We'll put it right on the table so it's an easy cleanup. We're gonna cut it open and see how the flakes look. I think we're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Sammy, you got your knife? Is that a flake?
That's a flake right
Sure
there.
is a flake. Not bad. Good looking horse hay. Sammy, I think the viewers are going to be very impressed by your ability to navigate 3 or 4 machines at one time and get it done.
You know, all I wanted to do today was make a mountain of hay, and
That's
we
what we
did.
did.